Is this video going to be controversial? Probably. Are people going to disagree with me? Probably. Do you have a really tight budget and still want to publish? Then watch this video. Welcome back to my channel. If you don't know who I am, I'm Rianne Edwards and I'm a young adult, new adult fantasy romance author. And today I'm going to talk about the costs involved in rebranding a series, because I know a lot of you have been asking me about that, and specifically how I've been trying to keep costs down, because whilst I appreciate how things like cover and editing are so important when it comes to releasing a book, I know that budget can be a massive thing that can hold us back. So let's get into today's video. So I'm going to break down all the costs that I had with rebranding and re-releasing the Soulbound series. So the first thing I want to talk about is the editing, because that's the first thing that I actually did. So I went back and I just kept on seeing a lot of errors and sentences that just weren't as punchy as I would like them to be. Maybe not quite errors, but just not as clear and concise as they could be. Now, obviously, I was probably picking up those things because I have written several books since I wrote the first book in the Soulbound series. And while I don't want to go back and constantly re-edit and change things, let's just say that it could be improved. So I actually used somebody I found on Fiverr. So I said that it could be a controversial video, and that's because I used Fiverr. Now I know there's a lot of negativity when it comes to talking about Fiverr, but if you have a budget, you have a budget. I didn't want like a massive overhaul of the whole thing, so I found somebody new, and she did a sample edit for me, and I really liked what she did and how she just helped to make those sentences just a little bit more concise and just make a little bit more sense. Book 1 was my biggest book, so it cost me £193, and then book 2 was £168.94, and then book 3 was £164.17. Obviously these are a bit weird because it was in dollars and it converts into pounds, and for that she did a copy edit. I am not saying that you should go to Fiverr and get a cheaper edit just to avoid going through different bodies and different editors. However, if you are on a really tight budget, I would still recommend getting somebody to look through your book, and this for me was a way of having that, but getting somebody that wasn't me, who wasn't involved in the book, somebody different to go through the manuscripts, and that was important. Of course, if I could afford it, I would love to get one of these other professional editors. However, these were going to cost in several £100s, like 800, 900, even more. And I'm sorry, but right now in my career, that's just not a player, because I won't make that money back to justify that spending. Not when I've also got things like your cover and your formatting and your ISBNs and then any promotion. There's loads of costs involved in publishing a book. So that was just something that I had to bring down, and unfortunately that's what I went to. Now, I'm not saying that she wasn't good, she was. I'm not saying that going to a professional editor would be even better. I don't know. But if you are looking to reduce costs, I would still get somebody to read your book. And I think that's the biggest message I want to get out right here. Don't just publish a book without getting an editor. I did that with my first duology that has been taken down now. Nobody can read that. And that was one of the reasons why it was so badly edited, because it wasn't edited. The total cost of getting the books re-edited was £526.11. So that is quite a big outlay, but I thought it was worth it judging how I was rebranding the series anyway. Covers. Okay. I did use somebody from Fiverr originally to do the covers for the Soulbound series. And at the time, I was really happy. I was grateful. I did inquire about her like subscription services and licenses, because I know a lot of people have been burned using Fiverr in terms of licenses, and always make sure that you have the correct licenses for your book, for the images that go onto your cover. But this time I decided to try Get Covers. I don't know if anyone's heard of them, but they're like an offshoot, like a sub brand of Mibble Art. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but Mibble Art, they're a great company. I see them all the time. They do some brilliant work. They're a little bit cheaper, I think, than other places, but they also do like custom designs, and that does go into the hundreds. However, they have like, what's the word I'm looking for? Like a subgroup. They're part of the same company, but Get Covers is part of like Mibble Art, and these covers are a lot cheaper. Now, I will say it depends on sort of what designer you get as to what product you end up with, and you can't choose your designer because you go through like a middle person. So like, you're talking to somebody and they're communicating to several different designers, and then the designers come through them to give us the work back. It sounds weird, but it totally works. So I will sort of show the artwork that I did get done, and I have got a whole video planned on the cover art, because it was a whole process working with them and everything else. But I thought for the price, it was much more on point, on brand, on genre as well. They do a lot of covers, so I was able to use their expertise in that to get a cover that suited my books. I don't want to say that I just gave them all creative licenses. I did actually like find lots and lots of covers that were sort of comp covers, and then sort of sent them over and like, this is the sort of thing I'm looking for, this is what I think will work. I also discussed colour schemes with them, and I did a lot of research into that. I'll go through that in another video about the research and how you can do the best research to find a book cover for your book and for the right genre, because genre expectations are a big thing and your cover has to convey that. Anyway, costs. So we've got the cost right here. Ooh, on my laptop. So the cover for book 1 was £31.89. I wasn't happy with what they were doing, so I asked for a redesign, and that redesign was £20.83. And then I was happy with that result, and there was a lot of back and forth and tweaking. But I also asked for a title page. I did have to pay for that, but that was only like £4. And then cover for book 2 was £33.93. That also did include the cover title. And then cover for book 3 was £31.30, and the title page was £4.83. Now, the reason why my prices change a little bit is, again, because it's in dollars and it converts. So it just depends on the day as to where it is on the market exchange malarkey, which I have no understanding of whatsoever. I also then did get the prequel story recovered as well, because I was changing the title and the series title. It made sense to adjust the prequel story anyway, which still at the moment I am giving away for free for like newsletter subscribers. But at this moment in time, I think that's the right decision, and I did get that redone. So that was £9.22. Now, because I wanted a little bit more work done on it, I had to have more images. So then I paid an extra £8.70 to get that done. So in total, that was £145.26. Again, I know some people spend hundreds of pounds and they are beautiful. I actually have some cover artists saved that I would love to use at some point in the future. But unfortunately, just right now, I'm just not there. So for me, this was like the next step up from Fiverr, I felt like. But yeah, Get Covers, I totally recommend them. So Get Covers also did some like promotional materials, like banners and stuff to go on your social media. I didn't know if it'd be worth it, but I thought I might as well try with book 1 while I'm here. And the ad images came to like £31.68. Ultimately, I don't think I needed them. I could have done sort of similar stuff with well, I could have done my own version in Canva, which I do now have the pro version of, but it was worthwhile just seeing. For that price, I was like, you know what, I'm just going to check this out. But that I have included in my costs because I did have to pay for it. As you may or may not know, I now have my own publishing imprint name, Inked Arrow Books, and I did get a logo for that as well. I went with Get Covers for the logo because they also did logos for like authors and stuff like that. So the logo was like £17, and that included, they did like 2 different colour versions. So the main colour version is like a purple, but then like to go on my book covers, it's like a silvery colour, so it will stand out hopefully against all different colour backgrounds. The ISBNs, if you saw my 2022 costs for the year, I bought 100 ISBNs, which was something like £379. So I've actually used 6 of those because I am using an ISBN for my ebooks as well as my paperbacks, mostly to keep all that data together. If you want to see my last video, I do talk about that a little bit more, so I'll link that up above. But so I worked that out as like £3.79 per ISBN. So in total, it's £22.74. Now, my prequel story doesn't have an ISBN because I'm not selling that at the moment. Total spend, including like the adverts that I took out, as in the ad images and the ISBNs, comes to £742.80. Now that is a lot of money, and I don't think I want to work out how many books I have to sell to make that money back. So you can see why I've managed to cut costs down quite substantially by using different companies, and a lot of these companies like Get Covers, I'm in a lot of writer groups on Facebook, and this company kept popping up all over the place, along with Mibble as well. So I do think Mibble is superior when you look at the cover examples that you get from both Mibble and Get Covers. However, I think Get Covers for me was that next step up, and there's no reason why in the future I couldn't go back and rebrand the series again. I wouldn't need the same sort of costs. I would be keeping the same titles, but there's no reason why I couldn't go back and recover in the future. Yeah, it's a very tricky and delicate subject. So I want everyone to be as respectful as they can be in the comments. But I do want to open up discussions about this because for us, we just want to get our books out there to readers. And I don't think readers really think about all these costs that go into publishing a book. So let me know down in the comments what you think about all these costs, and how are you surprised by any of the costs that I have? Do you want to know anything else about the costs involved of rebranding your book, or just even releasing a book? Because I found it really interesting going through all the different costs and how much I actually spent. I'm going to stop talking, mostly because my parents are still living with me and they're in the house right now, and it's just weird talking to myself when they're in the house, because that's what this is, talking to myself a little bit. And also I'm a rambler and I need to stop right now so I can try and make it as concise as possible. So until next time, bye for now.